everybody, it's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean. I'm kind of excited because I think I somewhat solved the terrible lighting issue. We're going to get started in just about 2 minutes for today's mind-body connection. So bribe your birds, bribe your pets, bribe your kids, whatever you need to do to get some quiet time and space for yourself. We're going to start today's practice standing. I do recommend having a block if you have trouble hinging forward and touching the floor, or if lunges are challenging for you to place your hands on the floor. Find a way to lift yourself up a little bit more so it'll be a little bit easier. Yeah, and that's about it. See you guys in 1 minute from right now. Do-do-do-do. Oh my gosh, you can see me. Okay, this is so exciting. Let me start a timer so I can somewhat keep track of how much longer we have. Great. Think about having yourself set up. So hey everybody, it's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean. I don't know where my strap is. Well, I have this jump rope. So I guess I'll be using that today. Jessica, oh, I found it. Great. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so think about having a strap nearby because we're going to play with that a little bit when we get down to the floor. And you might want to have a block as well, just in case you have trouble hinging forward. Let's get started just standing on our mat in mountain pose. Relax your arms down by your side. Just start to initially come into your breath. Let that be the first thing that you do for today's practice. So work to take some nice, long, slow, deep inhales in through your nose and let your exhale happen either through your nose or your mouth, your choice. You're welcome to keep your eyes opened or closed. No matter what, remember if your eyes are moving around, your mind is moving around. So we're just working to quiet down our minds and bodies. So find one spot to softly gaze or simply close your eyes. Now that you've started to come more into your breath, tune into how your body is feeling today. Notice how you're even standing on the mat. Where is the weight? It's very typical that people start to bring the weight a little forward into your toes. So ask yourself if you can shift a little bit more weight into your heels. Taking a slight engagement of your glutes, squeezing them to bring your hips forward can help you to open up your chest and bring your shoulders down and back. Make sure that as your chest opens and your shoulders do go down and back, that you still find control in your abdominal area. So typically as those shoulders go down, our rib cage can splay out. So with this squeeze forward of your hips and the opening of your chest, I want you to draw your belly in to find some engagement right there. So you're just standing tall and proud. Your chin is neutral to your chest. And notice what happens with your shoulders when you're breathing. When we're really tense, frequently on our inhale, the shoulders will rise up towards your ears. So if that's happening, that's okay. Just notice, do your best to really stretch your fingers down towards the floor to decompress those shoulders slightly. Let's take 5 more breaths right here. It's normal if you find that you're having trouble standing still. Maybe there is a little bit of swaying forwards and backwards. Just do your best to really ground through your feet and find some engagement of your muscles from the legs up. Imagine there's a string that's pulling your head up to the ceiling to create as much length in your spine as possible. Beautiful. On your next inhale, bend your right elbow, thumb comes towards your shoulder, and then raise your ear with your pinky as you stretch that right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. This time maybe your shoulder rises a little bit, but you're working to find that length from your waist, not just bringing your shoulder up. And on your exhale, start to bring it down. Maybe your fingertips graze your ear again. Other side, left arm bends at the elbow. On our inhale, we stretch up, elongate your breath, match it with your movement. And on your exhale, go ahead and reach it down. Let's do 2 more times on each side. Inhale up. Exhale down. Still keeping a lot of weight in your heels, making sure you're not shifting towards the toes. Inhale up. 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5. Exhale down. 2, 3, 4. One more time each side. Inhale up. Exhale down. Keep that rib cage pulled in, belly tight. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale down and take a moment as your arms come down to just enjoy mountain pose once again. Turn your hands, palms forward. On your next inhale, bring both arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers, release index fingers, thumbs crossed. Take that big stretch up towards the ceiling. Relax your shoulders from your ears. And let's just gently sway side to side. Work to keep those biceps as close to your ears as possible. So still an opening of the chest. Make sure your chin is away from your chest. And that you're really reaching side to side as much as you can. Go ahead, stop in the middle. Separate your hands, release your right hand down. Fingertips stretch down towards the floor. Lean over to that right side. Inhale up, bring that right arm up. Exhale, left arm comes down. Just a nice little gentle stretch on each side. We're going to do it 2 more times. Inhale to find as deep of a stretch as you can. Exhale to lift yourself back up. Last one to each side. Awesome. Relax your arms down by your side. I'm going to tuck my shirt in like the winner who tucks their shirt in and loves tucking their shirt in. Yay! Because next up we've got a forward fold. So if you need to make any adjustments to your costume, to your clothing, make it now. And then let's inhale, bring those arms up overhead again. Exhale, either raining forward, bending your knees, or swan diving down as those fingers come to the floor, and they can always come very far in front of you. I want you to inhale and draw your head forward. Stretch through your sit bones to create some length in your spine. And exhale, release your head down towards the floor. On your inhale, bring the weight into your heels. Slowly roll yourself up. Bring those arms up overhead. Exhale, either rain or swan dive down again. Inhale, find that length, that half lift, a nice flat back. Exhale down into your forward fold. And inhale, slowly rise up once more. Arms come up overhead. Last time we're going to stay in that forward fold. No, I lied. We're not going to stay in that forward fold. We're still going to roll through those. So find that lifted leg. Exhale down into your deep forward fold and inhale, slowly, gently roll yourself up. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, relax your arms down by your side. Separate those feet nice and wide. Next up, we'll do a little separate leg stretching. So just take notice of how your feet are placed on the floor right now, especially if you know that you have any pinching, any issues in your piriformis, or any sciatic nerve issues, I really want you to make sure that your heels are invisible behind your toes. However, if you don't have any lower body issues, you can create a little extra stretch by turning your toes in gently, creating a little bit of a pizza feet situation. Delicious. All right, go ahead, inhale those arms up overhead, find your length. Exhale, bring your arms down to shoulders height. Open up the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together, knit your rib cage back in so your belly is tight. With your chin away from your chest, you can look forward, find some length, keep your gaze forward, and then it slowly comes down towards the floor, and bring your hands down towards the floor, and you can shift the weight gently forward to your toes. I encourage you to shift the weight forward to your toes so that you're not sending your hips towards the back of the room, and if it's hard for you to reach the floor, just bring those hands forward a little bit more and work to stack those hips on top of your heels. We're going to take a gentle twist here just to begin with. So keep your left hand down on the floor. Inhale your right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. Really work to reach up, stretch, touch the ceiling, find that draw in with your belly. One shoulder does its best to stack on top of the other so shoulders aren't squared to the ground. You're really pressing through your hand palm on the floor and reaching through that lifted shoulder. Exhale, release your right hand down, replace it on the mat, and inhale your left arm up. Take a couple breaths here. Enjoy the stretch happening between your legs, especially those inner thighs, maybe even into your calves. Press into your right hand palm. Open up the left side of the chest. Stretch up, touch the ceiling. Take one more big inhale. And exhale, release that hand down towards the floor. Go ahead, walk your hands all the way over to the right side, just getting another little stretch here. Trying to grab hold of the right foot as you can. Then take your time. Let's walk all the way over to the left side. Beautiful. All right, we're going to move through a couple postures. We're going to get down to the floor, and then we're going to stand ourselves back up. So let's actually extend our arms out to the side and carefully lift ourselves up. With those arms still extended to the side, pick up the toes of your right foot and turn them forward towards the front of the room, and then bend that right knee, coming into a lunge, into a warrior pose. Taking a moment here, kind of in warrior two, looking over that right shoulder. So send that right knee towards the back of the room. Hips are nice and open. Open up your chest. Move both arms at the same time. So right fingers to the floor, left fingers to the ceiling. And then hinge forward as we come into triangle. If you need a little bit of support, you can always bend your forearm and place it on top of your right thigh as you work to once again stack your shoulders. If you can reach your fingers down towards the floor, do your best to not apply any pressure of your fingers to the floor. I know this is a big stretch. Before we finish, I want you to ask yourself what's happening with your hips. Frequently, as we come into this triangle, we send the back hip towards the back of the room and we lose that lunge. So I want you to squeeze that back glute to send your knee a little bit more forward, to come a little bit deeper into the lunge. Remember, you can always be supported on your forearm on that thigh. And then as you exhale your next breath, we're going to bring that left hand down towards the floor. Pick up the toes of your left foot and send the heel towards the back of the room as we come into a separate leg, far head to knee, or just a separate leg stretching posture. Really, instead of bringing pressure into your back leg, bring a little bit more weight into your front foot, into that right foot, and work to lift that right hip up. Otherwise, your right hip is going to drop down. Take a big inhale. On your exhale, step that left leg back in just a little bit, a shorter stance. Still working to lift your front leg hip up. Awesome. Let's come into a longer stance now. I want you to send your left leg all the way back to come into a runner's lunge. So this is why we had the blocks nearby in case it's hard for you to reach the floor. You can always place your hand on a block right here. And if this is still too much for you, release that back knee down towards the floor. You can untuck your toe or stay active with that toe tucked. From here, we're going to come into pigeon. So now untuck that back toe, release your back knee down towards the floor, and allow that right leg to gently fall over to the side. Resist the urge to come onto your glute. Shift the weight into your extended back leg so that that hip is closer to the floor. Take the rounding out of your upper back, so stretch forward. Relax a couple breaths here in your pigeon pose. Now let's switch it up. Lift yourself up if you came all the way down. We are going to shift the weight into the front leg glute, bend the back leg, come into deer pose. You can stay really open in your deer pose. You can keep those two 90-90s. You can close it up a little bit more, especially if you're feeling a lot of tightness in your quad. If you want more of a stretch towards the top of the thigh as opposed to from the glute to the side of the leg, go ahead, fold that back leg in a little bit more, and you can even rotate it out just a little bit and feel how that changed the stretch, or don't feel how that changed the stretch because you didn't do that, and that's okay. Oh, this feels so good. You can even take a little twist right here in your deer pose, but try to keep that back glute close to the floor so that you resist twisting out and really losing that stretch from the back leg at all. And then let's release ourselves out. Before you move that right leg, just extend your left leg forward. And we're just going to come into one more stretch, a little half lotus. If you want to, you can even bring that right foot all the way up on top of your left thigh. Maybe you can get the sole of the foot to the crease of your hip. If that's too much for you, just keep the sole of the right foot either by your left thigh bicep or widen it out, whatever works. Square your chest towards your extended forward leg. Take your time, find that forward hinge. Find length through your lower back. So make sure that you don't crawl forward with your chest collapse and a lot of rounding in that lower back. Start off with that big lift and your inhale, and your exhale, you bring your belly towards your thigh. We'll take one more stretch here before we finish it out. So lift yourself up, cross your right leg over your left. Get that belly out of the way, pull it in. Bring your right hand behind you like a kickstand. Inhale your left arm up and then cross it over your right leg. You can use the back of your arm, your tricep, to press against your right thigh. Use your inhale to find that lift of your chest, that engagement of your back. Draw your belly in again, and with this lifted length, turn and look over your right shoulder as much as feels good for you today. On your next inhale, find your length, and your exhale, untwist, send your right leg out. Take a moment, bob your knees, windshield wipe your feet, then fold those legs in. Let's come into tabletop just for a moment. Give yourself a couple cat-cows right here, pressing into those hands' palms. Feel free to shake through your hips, to find some movement through your shoulders. Just find what works for you today. Your choice for cat-cow. You can keep it traditional. You can send your hips a little closer towards your heels to access more of the lower back, the muffin top region. I like to use those sciencey terms because I know those are the ones I understand. All right, let's go ahead, tuck those toes under. Send your hips back to the ceiling. Let's take a moment here in down dog. Pedal through your heels. Get that big stretch into your calves. Really work to lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling and find as flat of a back as you can. And then start to walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet. Shift the weight into your heels. Feet should be about hips width distance apart, or maybe even a little bit closer together. Go ahead, bend your knees, coming into a squat. Inhale those arms up towards the ceiling. Take a moment in chair pose, send those hips back. Inhale, lift yourself up. Exhale, relax your arms down by your side. We're back in mountain pose. Take a moment here, relax your breath, relax your shoulders. Do your best to stand as still as possible. Find that one spot to gaze your eyes. I'm going to do my best to remember all of those postures on the other side. Let's make it happen. So starting off with just a couple more forward folds to access the back of those legs. To make it easier, let's inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, rain or swan dive down to the floor. Inhale, stretch through the crown of your head, stretch through your glutes, find that half lift, and exhale down to your forward fold. Inhale, weight in your heels. You can bend your knees as you slowly roll yourself up. Arms come up overhead. 2 more times. Exhale, rain, belly in, or swan dive down towards the floor. Inhale, come into your half lift. Flat back, exhale down into your forward fold. And remember, your knees can still be bent. Inhale, slowly roll yourself up. 1 more time, all the way through. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale into your half lift. Exhale into that forward fold. And inhale, slowly lift yourself all the way up. Arms come up overhead. Find that big lift up towards the ceiling, stretching your belly, and exhale, arms down by your side. All right, let's go ahead and get the other side. So, step your feet out nice and wide. We're going to start off with our forward fold once again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms come down to the shoulders. Make sure you're not overarching your back right here. So draw that belly in, squeeze your glutes, tailbone is forward. Look down at your feet before we move. Heels are either invisible behind your toes or you're challenging yourself with those pizza feet. Belly in, exhale, slowly lower yourself down with control. Come into that forward fold, shift the weight forward so that your hips are stacked more on top of your heels. See if you can relax a little deeper into the stretch. This time, if it's accessible for you, reach back and grab hold of your heels, maybe stepping on all 5 fingers of each hand and bringing your forearms onto your shins. Take this rounding out of your back that I bet is there by releasing your shoulders and pulling your chest forward slightly. Also, finding some separation through the glutes. Head relaxes down towards the floor. Eye gaze is between your 2 big toes, not towards the back wall. So there's a chin away from chest element here. If you grabbed hold of your feet, go ahead, release. Extend your arms out to the side. Carefully lift yourself up. This time we're going to turn the left foot out. So go ahead, turn that left foot out. You might even want to turn your right foot to a 45-degree angle. Bend your left knee, bounce and bounce a couple times. Come on down into that deep runner's lunge / warrior 2 right here. Coming into a lunge, really working to open that left thigh towards the back of the room. Chest is open, shoulders are open. Move both arms at the same time. And then exhale, come on down into your triangle. Notice if your back hip shifted up, and quickly, not quickly, but mindfully take a moment to squeeze through your glute and press forward. Remember, you can have your forearm on your thigh as you continue to reach that left arm up. This time, turn your chin to your left shoulder. See if you can even line up your thumb, your elbow, and your nose. It helps if you relax your jaw. Take that tension out of your shoulders, so notice if they were creeping up towards your ears. If you can, extend your opposite hand, the left hand down towards the floor. Use your forearm to help you to gently press that left knee back. Take one more big inhale, and on your exhale, turn towards your left foot. Pick up your heel of your right foot. Replant it down on the ground as we come into a separate leg, forehead to knee. You might need to shorten your stance. You can keep your hands down on the floor. Shift more weight forward into your front left leg to lift that left hip up. Otherwise, it's going to be sent towards the back of the room and dropped. So really work to lift that left hip up. Take a moment, tuck your chin to your chest. See if you can place your forehead on your knee with that belly nice and tight. This is so good for compression, a little bit of engagement in your metabolism. All right, we're going to step that back foot in a little bit closer. Just shorten the stance. You can lift yourself up gently. Hands, palms are still on the floor. And now we're going to send that back leg back as we come into our deep runner's lunge. Bam! You can bring your hands to the inside of your feet to more easily get them down onto the floor. Take a little squeeze of that extended leg glute. See how that also helps to find a little more openness of that hip. Take one more big inhale. On your exhale, release that back knee down towards the floor. Untuck your toes. Send your left foot to the right side of your mat and come on down into your pigeon. It's okay if your shin is not at all parallel to the mat. Maybe it's a lot closer towards your heel. If you can lower yourself down, lower yourself down. Remember, resist the urge to roll over onto the glute of your forward leg. You want to keep the hip of your extended back leg closer to the floor. And it's probably not touching the floor, and I bet your bum is not touching the floor, and that's totally okay. Just breathe it out right here, big stretch. If you lower yourself all the way down, use your inhale to lift yourself up. Now shift the weight onto your front leg glute. Go ahead, bend both of those legs. Come into your 90-90. Work to get that back leg glute back to the floor. Remember, you can stay right here and enjoy the really big stretch through the outside of your thigh, or you can always fold that back leg in a little bit more to enjoy a bit more of a quad stretch, which is just what my body needs. If you want to take a little bit of a twist in your quad stretch to access more of the lower back and the lats, go for it. You know we've got a spine twist coming up though, because we're doing our best to do the same moves on this side as we had on the opposite side. Continue to really work to find your lifted length. So if turning makes you really crunchy, then don't turn. Keep your hands on your thighs. Work to just stay lifted. Take that extra rounding out of your back. All right, let's send that back leg forward. And recognize that you probably have to take a little bit of a twist to square your chest with your extended leg. Remember, both sides of the body are not the same. So it's totally cool if for your half lotus forward fold-ish posture that we're doing right now, if on this side you maybe just need to keep the foot on the floor, or maybe even bring it further away from the center line of your body. However, if you can get this deep forward fold, so get your thighs a little bit more parallel towards each other, to have this knee pointing further towards the front of the room, and you can use your arm to help your foot stay here. Sometimes just being here is enough of a stretch. If you're feeling a stretch through this bent leg hip complex, stay there. If you're not feeling anything, find a little bit of a forward fold. Take your beans back, Fred. Oh my God, she's like a petulant child in a cage. Oh my gosh, this feels legit amazing. All right, we've got our spine twist coming up after this. Then we'll do one more seated upright hip opener. before we get to lay down on our amazing backs. So go ahead, lift yourself up, find that deep cross of your legs, crossing your left leg over your right. Pull that belly in, get it out of the way, find as much of a straight spine as you can, and bring your left hand close by the base of your spine like a kickstand. Press into it, find that proud lifted chest and the draw back and down of your left shoulder. Inhale your right arm up. Exhale, cross your right arm over your body. If you have something here that you can hold on to that's going to help you stay in the twist, go for it. If not, simply press your forearm or maybe even your bent elbow, if that feels good, against the outside of your thigh. Use your inhale to find that lifted length and your exhale to find a large or small twist, whatever twist works for you. Challenging ourselves a little bit more while we're a little more warmed up. If you don't need your kickstand hand and you don't find that you collapse when you remove it, you can lift it up, bend at the elbow, and reach for your, what's it called? Right hip crease. Open your shoulders and open your chest, engage your shoulders, lift through the crown of your head. One more big inhale. On your exhale, gently release, extend those legs forward. Bring your hands behind you, take a moment, windshield wipe your legs, bob your knees. Go ahead, bring your fingers behind you, palms down on the ground, fingers facing your glutes. Find a little supported back bend right here. So shoulders roll down and back, squeeze your shoulder blades, lift your chest. And exhale, release. Go ahead, bring the soles of your feet together in butterfly. You can always walk your glutes up one at a time if that feels right for you to come a little bit deeper into the stretch. It's normal. It's normal if you come into this butterfly and your knees are all the way up to your chest. Just work to relaxing your breath here. Know that sitting up on a prop can also help you to find a little bit more openness. So that's one option. Or using your elbows to gently press towards either your calves or your inner thighs to help release yourself down towards the floor. Hang out here for just a couple of breaths. Feel your rib cage expanding and contracting on the back side of the body. On your next inhale, lift yourself up if you went for a forward fold. Take your time. We're going to lower ourselves down on our back. Keep your block and your strap nearby because they're about to come into play. All right, as you lower yourself down on the back, take the time to gently draw your knees in towards your chest. Make sure your lower back stays down on the floor though. So only draw your knees in as much as you can to still have that lower back on the floor. Take the tension out of your chest, allow your shoulders to release. Gently rock a little side to side. Maybe starting to extend one leg a little bit more than the other, maybe a little clamshell opening. Feel the stretch towards your inner thigh and also maybe a little more on your quad. We're going to get a big quad stretch here, and then we're going to get back into stretching through those hamstrings and some hips a little bit. All right. This is one of my favorites, so draw those knees in towards your chest. Maybe your knees come a little bit closer together than when we first had knees to chest. Left hand comes on top of right leg and right hand reaches down and grabs hold of left foot. Allow it to carefully release down towards the mat. And the more that you're able to press the outside edge of your foot into the floor to stretch your knee towards the wall away from you and bring the outer edge of your leg to the mat, the more you're going to feel the stretch to your quad and a little of that inner thigh. Relax the upper body as much as possible. Just 2 more breaths right here. Carefully release. Make sure you're not flinging that leg back up, so move with control. Take your time or just work within that intention. Take a moment at knees to chest pose. Bring those legs a little closer together. And then bring your right hand on top of your left leg. Reach through with your left hand to grab hold of the right foot and carefully release it down on the mat. See how straight of a line you can have your right leg in. Oh, and then work to press through the outer edge of the foot. Use the grip that you have on your hand to help you take that big stretch of your knee towards the bottom of the mat. The more that you actively stretch and start to find that squeeze in your thigh and your quad, the more you're going to feel the stretch. So if you're just hanging out, you're not going to feel anything. You have to really take a little bit of engagement and press. Carefully take your time. Let's release. Send both feet down towards the floor. Go ahead, grab hold of your block if you brought it with you today. We're going to press ourselves up into a glute bridge. So soles of the feet are down on the floor. Heels are just about underneath of where your knees are going to be when you press yourself up. Take a deep inhale, lift up. If you don't have a block, you can just hang out here in your active glute bridge. If you do have a block, you can relax your lower back down for a little bit more of a passive glute bridge, a big stretch on the back, stretch into the belly. I want to be mindful of the people who don't have this block, so we're not going to stay here for too long. Take 2 more big breaths. If you have your back on the block, use your next inhale to lift yourself up. And let's all use our next exhale to gently lower ourselves down. Great work. Grab hold of your strap. Make a little loop for yourself. Keep your left leg bent on the floor. Go ahead, loop your right foot in and send your right leg up towards the ceiling. Flex your toes back towards your face. If you don't have a strap, you can still be right here, just sending that leg up. Maybe it's hard for you to keep your leg super straight. That's okay. You can always grab hold at the back of the leg. If you're not feeling any sort of a stretch, gently start to wiggle your left foot a little farther away. Maybe you could even straighten both of those legs. Keep that lower back on the floor. Take a moment here to point your toes and flex your toes. Point, flex. 3 more. Point, flex, point, flex. Last one. Point, flex. Take your time. Carefully allow that straight as you can leg to come out to the right side of the body. Maybe you can touch it down to the floor. Probably not. That's why we've got this strap, though, to help you find that nice open engagement, big stretch into the hip flexor and inner thigh. The more that you stretch through your heel with those toes flexed to your face, the bigger you're going to feel the stretch throughout the legs. Use that next inhale to send your right leg back up towards the ceiling. If you extended your left leg, take your time to bring it back in. Ooh. Carefully release the strap from your foot and relax your right leg down towards the floor. We already got some pigeon on the floor, so we don't have to do a figure 4 stretch again. Windshield wipe those legs gently, though. Let's go ahead and get the same stretch on the opposite side. So this time, loop your other foot. Use your breath to send your leg up towards the ceiling. Start to flex those toes back towards your face. Just notice if you can feel a stretch in your hamstring. Maybe if you're super tight, You feel it in the calf too, I know I do. If you're not feeling it, remember you can always wiggle and walk your right foot out a little bit further. But if you're already feeling a challenging stretch, just stay there. I'm a lot tighter on this side. I noticed that during class today. So I don't need to walk my right leg all the way out. This is plenty good. Let's find that point and flex of our toes. We got 5 of them, so inhale, point, and exhale, flex. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. Wow. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. I feel this so much more through the top part of my foot into, oh my gosh, the last one, into the shin on this side than I did on the other. Let's go ahead and find that big opening to the side, or as best as you can, depending on what kind of junk you might have next to you. This time I am going to extend my lower leg so I can relax that back a little bit more. Do what feels right for you. Remember, if you stretch through your heel and flex your toes to your face, you can increase the amount of stretch that you're feeling. So if you're already feeling a lot of stretch, maybe you don't flex your toes back towards your face and you just enjoy where your body is today. Two more breaths right here. Go ahead, inhale your leg back up towards the sky. If you extended that lower leg, bring it back in. Take your time, carefully bend. Release your strap. Both feet come down towards the floor. Windshield wipe those legs. We open those hips a little bit more, so let's enjoy a reclining butterfly. So bring the soles of your feet together. You might need to even press into the outer edges of your feet to relax your back, to get your glutes out of the way as you open those legs nice and wide. If you're really feeling like your lower back completely came off of the floor, experiment with walking your legs a little bit further away from the center line of your body and notice how that can help you relax into the stretch. Really work to take the tension out of your glutes, to melt that lower body, those hips a little more to the floor. You might even want to just warm up those hip flexors, to just gently pet them and let them know, it's okay, I'm doing this on purpose. You can totally relax here. We'll spend 1 minute in this stretch, and then we'll come into our final Savasana. Already work to get as much of the back of your head, your neck, your shoulders on the mat as you can. Take your time. You can do one leg at a time, but carefully extend through those heels. You can separate your legs as much as you want to, or just allow those heels to touch, those toes to fall open. Find a place to relax your arms, to come into complete stillness as we end our practice. And make sure that that stillness is not just of the body, but it is of the mind. So as outward thoughts come into your head, take a moment, recognize them, and let them know, I'll be with you shortly. Just put them on hold and come back to your breath, especially if you find that your mind is racing of other things or feelings. Take the time to count your breath right now. Count the length of your inhale. Count the length of your exhale. And use that as a way to stay present in this moment that you created for yourself. You carved out this time and space. Enjoy it to the very end. love how when I'm totally silent and still after class, I can really sense my heartbeat and sense the blood flow through my body. If you haven't felt it yet, take a couple extra minutes here. Really work on your stillness in your savasana. But if you're with me and that heart is beating and you're ready to move on with your day, take a little wiggle of your fingers and your toes. Make sure you bring the blood flow back to your extremities. Take your time, make your way to a seated position of your choice. As you get there, bring the focus back to yourself. Feel free to even close your eyes. Bring your hands, palms to the center of your chest in Namaskar. Take a moment to once again work to feel your beautiful heartbeat. Tuck your chin to your chest. Take this last minute to think about why you came today. Tell yourself something nice right now. Remind yourself why you're so amazing. Even if you don't believe it just yet. Say it. Even say it out loud. I love myself. It can be that simple. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that I said or we did today, please reach out. If you have any particular aches and pains that I can create a class around, let me know. Till we see each other again, I hope that you think good thoughts. Speak those good words out loud. Do good deeds. And eat good foods. Take the time to nourish yourself from the inside out. If it feels right for you, bring your thumb up to your third eye. Ground your sit bones. Draw your belly in. Lift your beautiful face, arms, chest to the ceiling. And know that the light within me honors, sees, and is so thankful for the light within you. Enjoy this last heart opener. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.